The Port of London was once the largest in the world. The Museum of London Docklands exhibition highlights its importance for the people, culture and the country's position in the world for over 200 years to the present day. This new exhibition, in partnership with the Port of London Authority, or PLA, reveals the ongoing influence of the port on the capital city and explores complex operations that have enabled the port to connect London to the rest of the world. Alistair Gale from the PLA tells us the City of London and the port are intrinsically linked.
The city really grew from the port. It was basically the place where you could ford the river, cross the river and bring stuff ashore. And from that slowly grew the world's biggest port with enclosed docks that everybody would recognise. And in fact, the enclosed docks are one of the few things you can actually see in satellite images from space. They're so large. But over time, the ships grew larger and they needed deeper water, so they went further downriver.
The next area of the exhibition expands on the Thames area's diversity.
So this is one of my favourite parts of the exhibition. This is where it's a properly immersive experience because you can sit in this little theatre and effectively immerse yourself in all of the different uses of the Thames today.
Gale says people are really engaging with the area.
The tidal Thames, which runs from Teddington Lock all the way out to the North Sea, and over those 95 miles, you effectively have a river which is a bit of a playground, which goes from Teddington Lock to Putney, where people are doing rowing, sailing. Stand-up paddleboarding has grown really hugely in its popularity in the last little while. And then through central London, with the only world city that has 4 UN World Heritage Sites on the banks of its river.
Stories help to bring the experience to life. Gale says when he first came into the exhibition, this image struck him as emblematic of how important seafarers have been. He says many thousands of seafarers have worked far longer shifts on the ships in the past months to ensure that all of us receive the food, fuel and medicines needed through the pandemic.
So it was really striking coming into the exhibition to find an image of seafarers being cared for going back into the 1800s. So it's very much a tradition in London that the seafarers' contribution is valued and that we look after them when they come to London doing their essential job.
In the image, they are waiting for medical assessment. The port and its activities have influenced the language we use and also place names. The DLR station called Mudchute is named after dredged mud taken from Millwall Dock and dumped via a mudchute.
The name Posh, as a description for people, is actually believed to be linked to the noting that went on people's tickets, which was put for port out, starboard home, and basically ensured that those passengers had the nicest cabins because they wouldn't be so hot in the middle of the day.
Gale says the exhibition gives people a chance to experience the sights, sound and even the smells of the Port of London.
And this last area that we're at, which has some boxes, literally you can lift the lid and you can smell the aroma of the historic port. Some of them are nicer, some of them are not so nice. So if you get the spices, then you'll be okay. If you're looking at smelling the hides and the fish, it's not quite as pleasant, but it's all part of life.
The exhibition runs until the 8th of May. It's fascinating to understand London as a port city and the vital role it plays. Neil Woodrow, NTD News, London.